Each week, one brave chef will try to take me down in my house. This culinary battle is going to shake down in 2 rounds. Round 1. To get to me, 2 contenders have to go through each other using an ingredient of my choice. Let the games begin! 2 people that know me well will decide who's got the skills to beat me.
We got your number. You're going down.
Round 2, I go head-to-head with the winning contender. It's their turn to surprise me with their signature dish. That's what you brought here?
We have let the lion out of the cage.
Bring it on. Bottom line, everyone's out to beat me. All right, you guys gonna bring the noise tonight or what? Well, here to bring the pain are 2 hosts from Food Network's The Kitchen, Chef Jeffrey Zakarian and Katie Lee.
Coming for you.
What's up, miss?
Hello.
You guys have both been here before, so do you feel you have a good strategy to get me beat today?
I'm usually nice to you, but tonight, I want to see you go down.
I have none of those feelings. I just want to see you lose.
Jeffrey, will you ever compete in this?
Oh, that would be a show.
Can I judge?
I would love that.
Come on. Yeah.
All right, bring on the chef.
A first contender with 40 years in the kitchen. She is a force to be reckoned with. Please welcome the executive chef of Cibo y Beve, Linda Harrell.
Our next contender has been cooking his way through the Big Apple for over 30 years. Meet the executive chef of Gran Maurici Trattoria and Enoteca, Kenny Johnson.
I know you guys want to get to me, but first, you must go through each other. You have 20 minutes to make one ingredient the star of your dish. And that ingredient is fennel.
I'm not a big enough fan of fennel to have it be the star of anything that I make, but my palate will speak for itself.
Fennel, it's a really versatile vegetable. Feeling confident.
Katie and Jeffrey are going to taste and decide which one of you goes up against me in round 2. Let's see what you can do. Ready? Fennel is a very strongly flavored ingredient. It has sort of the texture of like an onion, but tastes like licorice.
I would like cook some of it, have some of it raw.
An ingredient like fennel really lends itself to make an Italian-style dish.
Absolutely.
Fennel, it can really take over sometimes, so you need to kind of mellow it out. I'm going to make sauteed shrimp and fennel with an apple pancetta cream sauce. The saltiness from the pancetta and the sour element and the apple tone down that licorice flavor. I've been cooking for 37 years. I know not to overthink it. I've given a lot of my life to working in restaurants, missing a lot of family things, but I cooked at the James Beard House and some of the best restaurants up and down the East Coast. And here I am 15 years later with one of the best Italian restaurants in Atlanta. I know that my family has always felt that I put my career ahead of them. I just kind of want to prove that this has really been worth it. Bobby, I'm going to get you.
If you really want to go at fennel, the things that really make sense are lemon, olives, seafood. The balance of the acid and salt is a great complement to that anise flavor. The fennel.
I want to impress the judges. Using the fennel in a cooked preparation and a raw preparation. I'm making a shaved fennel and olive salad with a tomato fennel coulis and seared red shrimp. 20 minutes is generally not enough time for any chef to do anything, but I'm gonna go full tilt boogie. I went to culinary school and I worked my butt off. In 6 years, I became an executive chef. Unfortunately, I started to party too much. I could barely even get a line cook job. It was horrible. I had to change my life. I made the choice to quit drinking. I am now an executive chef with a James Beard Award. To beat Bobby, after all the things that I've been through, it would just be reassurance that it was all worth it.
Okay, we got 16 minutes, chefs. I'm gonna take a look. So my favorite ingredients, pork and butter.
I've got some head-on shrimp here. I'm doing a little bit of Granny Smith apple.
Cool, remember, the fennel is the star of the show, all right?
Apple and pork is a classic pairing. Adding the fennel elevates the dish.
Kenny, so what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna make a little fennel and tomato coulis. I'm gonna make it very Italianate.
Very Italianate? Is that like Italian?
Close. Coulis is just basically another word for a sauce. So I grab a couple of those beautiful tomatoes, chop up the fennel, shallots, get some garlic in the pan, and then shrimp stock.
What I saw was some really astute cooking. Linda's using pancetta, which right away gives a great complement to fennel. Kenny is making like a little broth with the shrimp and the fennel.
We've got 13 minutes on the clock.
I start cleaning the shrimp. I throw them into the pan.
Linda, how you doing over there?
I'm feeling great. Get ready, Bobby.
Don't worry about me, worry about him right now. One thing at a time, miss.
I grab the cooked down vegetables and puree them to make a quick coulis.
I'm going in, guys. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling very confident.
Yeah, you got 8 minutes on the clock.
Oh, Jesus.
Gonna get
Do I
done?
have to talk to you still?
The fact that he took all that and like pureed it, it's a cause for concern because they have no texture anymore.
Next, I'm going to add some cream. Make it a little richer and bring all the flavors together.
Kenny's doing shrimp, too. Are you a little worried?
Mine's different.
It's a competition, baby. It's a competition. Got to step on their necks.
We got some trash talking.
Step on the next.
So let me concentrate on the fennel salad now. I'm going to shave the fennel, and then I chop the olives. Add lemon. It's crispy. It's fresh.
I noticed that Linda has been cooking her shrimp a long time. Shrimp cooking literally minutes, yeah.
Less than 4 minutes to go.
I realize I've got plenty of time left on the clock. Need any help over there, Kenny?
Say what? Yeah, I think I'm doing okay.
I like all this confidence in the kitchen.
Kenny, he put his shrimp in perfection time. I'm liking it.
I start the plate up to simple, rustic, and let the flavors speak for themselves.
1 minute.
I just put the coulis in a plate, the salad, the shrimp were done, right on cue, and a little drizzle of some finishing olive oil.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm looking at my plates, and I know that I did everything I could to prove that I have what it takes to beat Bobby.
The picture I had in my mind is now on the plate. I'm going to step over her if I have to get to Bobby.
We're very excited to pick someone to beat the man standing in between you. It really pains us when he wins.
It's all going to come down to what you did with this fennel. Linda, tell us about what you made.
Today I made sauteed shrimp and fennel with an apple pancetta cream sauce.
The pancetta and the fennel were really a marriage made in heaven. What you did with the apple really brightened the dish, but the shrimp's a little overcooked.
The fennel is cooked really nicely. It's got that great caramelization, but I think that this may have been more successful if tossed with the pasta to absorb that good sauce.
With all the cream that I used in that dish, it makes perfect sense that I should have used pasta. I had all that extra time left.
So, Kenny, what do we have here?
I did a shaved fennel salad with the tomato fennel coulis and red shrimp.
It's really light and bright and vibrant. And the shrimp was cooked really nicely. But there is a lot of oil in the dish.
The fennel sliced is delicious. It's nice that you have both raw and cooked. It really shows a good use of technique.
Thank you.
That being said, it reads a little greasy, but there's some really good flavors there.
It was just a little bit of extra virgin olive oil that I drizzled on the plate, but I feel pretty good about this.
The person we have chosen to go up against Mr. Bobby Flay is Chef Kenny.
I know that I put up a good dish, and I think that my family will see that this is really my passion.
Chef Kenny. Even though it's a little oily, it's a little less than in fennel, a puree, a raw. We love the fact that you had those techniques, and you're going to need them because this gentleman has similar tricks.
I know. Got a whole bag of them.
Kenny, now you seem like a very cool customer in round one. Does it change a little bit for round two?
Absolutely. Now you're coming into my turf.
That's not what I was expecting.
This is my game now.
How's it gonna feel to be the loser, Bobby Flay?
All right, enough talk. What are we cooking?
My signature dish is meatballs.
Can't put jalapenos on meatballs, Bobby.
Why not?
Perfect. fairness, we're gonna bring in 3 experts for a blind taste test.
You'll have 45 minutes. Time starts now. The first thing is to go for pasta with this. I would not just let the meatballs shine.
A good meatball makes you just feel so warm and cuddly.
The key here is if you're using beef, it can be dry. You got to get that right fat content in. If you're using pork, maybe it means more cheese or more eggs. You get them wrong, you can get a real tough meatball.
I also find so much better when you bake a meatball.
I want to get the meatballs in the sauce, a little simmer, and just set them aside. That's a traditional meatball.
My signature dish is meatballs with the tomato sauce, polenta cakes, and garlic bread. I've made my meatball recipe 1,500, 2,000 times. Beating Bobby today would be a reassurance that I'm still relevant.
Bobby, how many times you made meatball in your career?
Maybe a dozen times.
That's it?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You know what? It's not a birthday cake, so I know I can get it done. My game plan is to go sort of Sicilian. I'm making meatballs in a tomato agrodolce sauce served with a mascarpone polenta. My biggest concern is getting the rawness of the tomatoes cooked out of the sauce and then getting the meatballs into the sauce so that the flavors pick up into the meatballs. I get all my vegetables chopped, I get tomatoes in the pan.
Okay, less than 40 minutes. I'm going to take a look. Meatballs. Kenny, tell me what you're doing.
I'm making a classic meatball. It should be soft, rich. I mix the beef and the pork, and then I add mortadella.
So why the mortadella?
I like that little salami, bologna, garlicky thing in there, man.
It's
I love
creamy,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Gives that extra fat content.
I love it.
In order to keep it together, I add breadcrumb and the eggs to the meat, the ricotta cheese, parsley, and milk. The meatballs almost have to be sticky. I put them on a pan, put them in the oven.
Bobby Flay, where are the meatballs?
I'm trying to get to them.
Are you doing traditional pork?
Pork and beef.
And so what else are you putting in there?
Kenny, what else goes in those? Parmesan cheese, parsley, oregano. All these layers of flavors are really important. So to make the meatballs, I'm adding cooked onions, cooked garlic, some breadcrumbs, some eggs, some Calabrian chilies, because they have incredibly delicious flavor to them. And of course, some heat.
Bobby spent a lot of time getting those onions and garlic and all that stuff down, which is good. But now he has to make sure that he gets that meatball in the sauce, because it can be dry inside.
It's all about that simmer.
Kenny's doing his meatballs first. I like that attitude better.
The meatballs are working. Now I got to concentrate on the tomato sauce. I'm looking at my time. I need to keep this tomato sauce relatively simple. No onions, no nothing, just tomatoes. Garlic, salt, and pepper.
30 minutes on the clock.
Bobby, maybe you want to get going on your meatballs.
Or maybe not. No rush.
I've been focused so much on my tomato sauce that I don't even have the meatballs made yet. I have to get them cooked and then into my sauce. I'm all over the place on this one. The clock seems like it's running fast or something.
Take your time, Bobby.
Yeah, do that. Take your time.
He looks a little nervous, frazzled even. I got this.
We got 28 minutes on the clock.
My sauce is on the stove. I'm forming my meatballs, but time is definitely running out. I want to make sure the flavor is really right, so I'm sauteing a little bit of the meatball mixture just to make sure that the seasoning is on point. It's got a little bit of a heat to it. I feel like I can move forward.
I'm going in.
Let's take a taste.
Bobby, you made one to taste. Looks kind of greasy to me.
Well, I mean, I was just sauteing it.
Not bad.
I'm worried on time.
You should be worried, but you haven't cooked your meatballs yet, and they still need to simmer in a sauce, and you have to think about plating. So many things to do, and you've got a mess over here. He's already got his meatballs in the oven. He's already got his sauce on the stove. And look,
And you're bugging the hell out of me. Get out of here. So I'm deep frying my meatballs to get a little crust on the outside, and so I would probably never do that at home, but I'm short on time. It actually works really nicely because it keeps the shape.
Kenny, it's smelling so good over here.
Good.
You didn't even taste your meatballs. Have you just done it so many times that you know they're great?
I make 60 pounds of these things at a pop.
Take some from me.
23 minutes on the clock. Kenny's gonna win!
Now it's time to work on the polenta. I already have the boiling water. I add a little bit of milk. I start slowly adding the polenta. I add ricotta cheese. When it's consistency to what I'm looking for, I poured it into a greased sheet pan. I actually put it in the freezer because I needed it to cool down fast so that I can cut it into polenta cakes.
So Bobby is deep frying his meatballs and putting them directly into the sauce. He's not going to have enough time to get that flavor transferred from the sauce into the meatball because there's a crust now.
Kenny's calm, cool, and collected, and he's taken his meatballs out of the oven, putting them in the sauce.
Yeah, when you put meatballs in the oven, which is a great way to do it, you're going to keep some of the moisture and it's going to absorb the sauce quickly.
I want something to absorb the sauce a little bit. Obviously, spaghetti and meatballs would be the classic, but I'm gonna make a little bit of polenta and a little milk and water, add some mascarpone cheese, some Parmigiano to really make it creamy.
Okay, 15 minutes. What did you finish the polenta with?
Mascarpone Parmigiano.
I didn't know you spoke Italian. That's not half bad.
No respect here.
I've got everything working, so now I'm thinking, let's make the garlic bread. I get the baguettes, I start slicing them on the bias, olive oil, Parmesan cheese. I slice up some garlic.
Oh my God, I love this. Look at the cheese on the crouton. And so what are you gonna do with this? Tell me.
I'm gonna put this under the salamander, make a nice little garlic toast to garnish the albóndigas.
Don't burn it, stay there.
I'll keep my eye on it.
I got my eye on you.
Coming up on 11 minutes.
The agrodolce is the last thing that's gonna go on my plate. Agrodolce is sweet and sour, and it should marry really well with the sweet, acidic flavor of the tomato sauce.
What's in the agrodolce, Bobby?
I'm not telling you anything. I just want to reduce red wine vinegar, honey. You want a little acidity from the vinegar, a little sweetness from the honey, some currants, and you bring in the natural salty flavors, some Sicilian green olives and capers.
I think the agrodolce is a really good idea. I think will really help cut the polenta.
We always love our acid and our fat.
That's what it's all about, balance.
We have a little bit over 7 minutes.
Grab the polenta. It's still a little bit too soft. It's crumbling up, but there's nothing I can do right now. I'm running out of time. I go to the edges. I know that's where it's set the best, and I just cut out what I could. And then I start adding meatballs to my cast iron skillets.
You're plating already? Hold on.
We have a little bit over 4 minutes. So, Kenny, what's going on?
I'm putting the polenta in here. I'm gonna put it under the salamander.
And then are you topping it with any cheese?
I'm gonna
or-
put like a snow shower of Parmesan.
Good luck. Do us proud. It looks great. What are you
What do
doing,
you
Bobby?
want?
Seem a little in the weeds.
I don't know how this is gonna come out, honestly.
You have less than 2 minutes on the clock.
Can you get out of here? Gotta go. So the plating, I'm gonna put some polenta on one side, then I'm gonna put the meatballs in the polenta.
1 minute.
We're down to no time. I add
A little more cheese, put the bread.
I add sauce on top, and then the agrodolce on top of that, a little ricotta salata for saltiness. This is definitely a close one.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good job.
My dish is done. I love the way it looks. I have no doubt of my ability. I just don't know what he has on his plate. He's not an Iron Chef because he's a nice guy.
Kenny's presentation is more rustic, but Kenny knows how to make meatballs. I think I have a tough road here.
As you know, we cannot taste this, so we have these incredible judges coming in to taste for us. First up, chef and restaurateur, Mr. Charlie Palmer. New York City food and wine writer, Tracy Weiss. And the co-owner of Rayo's Restaurant Group, the undisputed king of meatballs, Mr. Frankie Pellegrino Jr.
Just a reminder, this is a blind taste test, so start with the first meatballs in front of you.
It's delicious. The body of the marinara sauce is fairly nice, but I'm not fond of the texture of the meatball.
I do agree that the meatball texture itself was a little bit rough, but I really liked the spice of the whole meatball. I thought the hot was calmed down by the green olives. The polenta, I could take it or leave it.
I love the whole theme of this agrodolce. It kind of brings the dish together, but I would have to say I'm not a big fan of the currants. Maybe too sweet.
Judges, switch plates, and we'll start on the next plate of food.
I think the texture of the meatball is fantastic.
When I close my eyes and I imagine meatballs, this is the dish. I thought the mortadella brought a richness, but I didn't care for the polenta at all.
The texture of the meatballs, terrific, and I was fond of the crostini. However, the sauce needs some more seasoning.
I agree with that, but I didn't have the 2.5 hours to make that slow-cooked tomato sauce. From my point of view, I think I nailed it.
You have to pick a winner.
The judges don't like the texture of my meatballs, but I think they like the idea that I took a risk. But Kenny's meatballs are silky, they're rich, and they're responding really well to his.
The judges have made their decision, and the winner of meatballs is Chef Kenny Johnson.
I came in here super confident that I was going to beat Bobby, and I did it. It feels awesome.
Kenny's presentation is more cohesive, and your texture was terrific. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Kenny, you just beat Bobby Flay.
Yeah, baby! I love you all.
That's the way to accept victory. I like that.
We beat Bobby Flay. Finally, I got a victory under my belt.
I've been cooking for 30 years now and survived and thrived. There's no stopping me.
My name is Kenny Johnson, and I just beat Bobby Flay.